Now, it's been a year since TASARU, which is fully owned by the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, became a strategic investor in the global chauffeur service Blacklane. Well, during the 12 months that have passed since this partnership began, Blacklane has seen an 8-fold increase in revenue in the kingdom, and there are plans for Blacklane to expand its presence to new cities with a fleet of high-end vehicles and highly trained drivers. Well, Blacklane's ambitions mirror many of the ambitions of Vision 2030. We're going to speak now to Dr. Jens Wohltorf, who is the co-founder and CEO of Blacklane. Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to speak to us.
Thank you for the invitation, Tom.
Now, we are very much focused on Saudi Arabia on this show, and Blacklane is, of course, a well-established ride-hailing company with a strong presence in Saudi Arabia. A strategic investment has been made in your company by the PIF-owned TASARU, and I wonder if we could start by talking about that. How does the arrangement work?
So it's an investment into our global company with the focus to allow us to invest deeply into Saudi Arabia, working together with TASARU and other local partners to really bring also the mobility side of Vision 2030 to life. I think we have the right ingredients at hand. Now we're lucky to also have the right partners on our side, and that's why a year ago that investment happened and really made us scale.
Okay, I mean, some people will know Blacklane, others might not. Just tell us a bit about what sets Blacklane apart from some of the other well-known ride-sharing services.
So Blacklane is a global premium transportation provider, and we are serving a chauffeur experience. So we are calling ourselves a chauffeur service. That means really comfortable vehicles, luxury vehicles, well-educated chauffeurs that are steering those vehicles, welcoming the guests. And it's a very reliable, consistent, just great service that you can enjoy around the world. We are in over 50 countries, over 500 cities, have established a large presence in North America and in Europe in the first decade of our existence. And since a few years, we are doubling down on the Middle East.
Now, you're speaking to us from Riyadh, and I just wondered whether you could tell us a bit more about your operation in Saudi Arabia. And what sort of a fleet size are we talking about there, first of all?
We are talking by now about hundreds of cars that we have in our fleet. It's rapidly growing. Just in the last 12 months, we have 8x our revenue, so grew it by 8 times, and it's a challenge to keep up with that pace, also in terms of vehicles, but especially, as mentioned before, especially on the chauffeur side, because this is the maker and breaker of the experience. So we are really putting a lot of emphasis in upskilling our chauffeur base here in our chauffeur academies, training them to the perfect standards, so that it's always consistent, reliable, and that's what the country has needed.
Okay, let's talk a bit about your business model now. I want to ask you, I mean, are you working with third-party providers? Are you hiring directly? Just tell us a bit about how that side of things works.
So we are working with third-party chauffeur services that are partnering with us, but we are basically taking the whole capacity onto our platform. It's dedicated to Blacklane. They will only run on the Blacklane under the Blacklane brand umbrella, and therefore we are making sure that every detail is being controlled, especially on the service provider side, on the chauffeur side. That's why we put so much power into the chauffeur academies.
Okay, so that's the service side of things. Let's move on to talking about the product. What sort of cars are you using there in Saudi Arabia? And are we talking about an increasingly electric fleet? Tell us a bit about that.
Well, that's part of the kingdom's vision. That's as always part of Blacklane's vision as well. Throughout the Middle East, we are pushing for electric vehicle uptake. In markets such as Dubai, where we started a little earlier, we have already reached electric vehicle share of 100%. So every car that Blacklane provides there is electric. And here we are also making great progress. We've started with 0. A year ago, we are now at 25% of all rides happening in KSA being in an electric vehicle. We have partnered just recently up with Lucid. So we are bringing a lot of premium Lucid vehicles into our fleet. We have Mercedes electric vehicles. So these sorts of cars and brands are the ones we are using. Also Mercedes S-classes, combustion engines still, BMWs, so really luxury vehicle brands that you can hire on the Blacklane platform. But we are pushing very hard on the EV adoption side. That includes actually also that we invest into the infrastructure, because that is the challenge. And so we have partnered with EVIC as well here in KSA in order to bring up more charging stations to feed our growing fleet.
Okay, so you say your growing fleet does in fact contain some Saudi brands. Is the idea to grow that even further?
Absolutely, absolutely. We are just at the starting point. We have just launched the partnership with Lucid, so those 25% of rides can only be seen as a starting point.
Now tell us a bit about who is a typical Blacklane client. Who are you aiming at? What's their profile?
So typically, it's a frequent traveler. That can be an individual, that can be a corporate user, that can be a passenger from an airline or a credit card holder. Those that often need mobility and often need comfortable, reliable, and consistent mobility. Those are our typical customers. That can be an hourly booking to go around the city, like in a roadshow style. That can be part of an event to go there with your family, but often typically also the airport ride, both in the origin of the flight and in the destination of the flight. City to city is a phenomenally quickly growing part of our offering here as well. So going from Jeddah to Mecca, for instance, or Riyadh to Dammam, those are really racetracks for us, because we are filling a big gap that was there before.
Now, one thing we talk about quite often on this program is the rising number of tourists visiting Saudi Arabia. I'm wondering if those rising visitor numbers are translating into greater demand for services like yours.
100%. Like the investment that the kingdom is pushing into this the tourism sector, also into the luxury and premium tourism sector, be it hotels, but also the big events that are driving this. This is becoming a very, very attractive tourist destination as we speak. And that's a huge surge that we are also feeling in our numbers. And given that we are have been around for quite some while now and are well known in North America and Europe, so all of those customers are very happy that we are now growing our presence here. They are used to the brand, they are used to the quality of it. So it's a win-win for all sides.
Okay, so what you obviously offer is a service that's vastly superior to that of the average ride-sharing platform that people will be used to. But a lot of those companies that I'm thinking of are actually setting up premium services of their own with skilled chauffeurs and premium vehicles. We're starting to see more of that, not just globally, but also the regional players as well. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't that potential competition for you guys?
I'm welcoming every competition because it only shows that we are operating in a very attractive target market and a market segment, and every competition helps at the end the whole industry to become better. It's good for the customers. We are not planning to lose our competitive edge on the quality side, so we are constantly improving and evolving also our chauffeur training standards. And that's the reason why our customers are coming back so frequently.
Okay, I want to ask you now a bit about doing business in Saudi Arabia. What's been your experience and how have you found things, particularly in terms of regulation?
I'm surprised and really impressed by the hospitality, the welcoming culture that we are facing here. So it has been not difficult at all to get in contact with the right people, with the right organization, with the potential right partners. There is a huge appetite for a service like ours. And if you think about this mobility offering that we have, pretty much everything that moves needs to close that gap of bringing people from A to B, and therefore we are seeing a huge potential target market and closing partnerships one after the other. Regulatory wise, also super supportive, because we are really offering something that progresses the development of the sector, We are evolving it together with the investment also of TASARU Mobility Investment. Obviously, we also have the honor to help to always have a helping hand to steer us, especially in the earlier days, to steer us through the system, and it has not been a challenge.
Okay, just before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you whether there was any update on a potential IPO for Blacklane, because in 2019 there was some discussion of a planned IPO. Just wondered, where are we with that?
Yeah, that was just a year before that pandemic hit our world. So that obviously has influenced quite a bit in the travel space and us being a travel player as well. So we are keeping our options open. Since COVID, we have grown phenomenally fast. Not only here in KSA, but also globally. We are seeing huge growth numbers. We're saying thanks to the financing round that is a year ago, that has happened a year ago. We are having all options on the table and all the flexibility. So we are focusing on continuing to succeed with our business model, to grow as fast as we can without compromising the quality level. That is the brand promise of Blacklane. So let's see.
All right, you're keeping your options open by the sounds of things. No update or no date yet as such?
No date, no confirmation about that is the path. Any other paths, this is totally open. We are just happy that Blacklane is developing so well.
Okay, let's wrap up our conversation. You've mentioned Vision 2030 a few times during this conversation. I wanted to ask you to summarize how you see the alignment between your mission as Blacklane and Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. Where are you seeing the convergences?
Yeah, so they are actually very close together. We are pushing for a sustainable future of mobility, and that's part of the vision. It's about developing the mobility space, evolving the premium luxury mobility space. It's about innovation in general. We are heavily empowered by technology, and we are applying a lot and learn a lot also here from that market. And we are upskilling our chauffeur base. And we are talking now about hundreds of jobs we are creating, and in a few years we will talk about thousands of jobs that we are helping to get into our industry. It's a high quality job and very attractive in many ways. So we are going hand in hand with that ambitious vision, and we are happy that also Blacklane has the same level of ambition.
Okay, well, we really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us. Wish you all the very best with your ventures in Saudi Arabia. Dr. Jens Wohltorf, the co-founder and CEO of Blacklane. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Tom.